You're listening to this week's episode of the Vacation Rental Business in Today's World podcast. You're about to start transforming your business and life with the information found here. We interview some of the greatest and most influential minds in the vacation short-term rental industry and supporting businesses. The information found here is a combination of brain science, transformational thinking, safety and loss prevention, and vacation short-term rental knowledge and experiences, all rolled into one to help you and your business to achieve levels you never thought possible. I am glad you are here, and now please welcome your host, Eric Thibodeaux.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Safer VRs podcast. My name is Eric Thibodeaux, and I'm glad you're here. So today's maybe going to be a little different topic, and we'll see how it goes. My topics really aren't laid out or scripted and everything. I kind of identify a topic and go with it, kind of based upon what I find out there today. And I'm back in Egypt here in the first week in October, working here. I work as a safety manager here in Egypt and work a rotation and head back home here in a couple of weeks. So this week, once again, we're still offering the Awakening Vacation Rental Safety membership. Is still open for our founding members. We appreciate those who have joined already, and we're working with the content and taking a look at it. And we're open to anyone else who wants to come in. Also, we have the Safer Vacation Rentals Facebook group where I post as well. And I'd love to have you join that. That's a closed Facebook, no cost. Just come on in and join us. So look forward to seeing you. So today I want to talk about the Prime Directive. And maybe people don't know about it. I mean, it's one of these things from Star Trek. You know, I'm a big Star Trek fan. I was watching it on the flight over. I was watching it this past week. And I mean, even though if you've watched Star Trek or Trekkie, you've probably seen them a lot of times, but I still enjoy watching all of the different ones. So really a big fan. And the topic of the Prime Directive came up. So maybe you've heard about the Prime Directive from a Star Trek standpoint, but here's what it is from Star Trek. It's a guiding principle that prohibits the members that are out there in Star Trek in Starfleet from interfering with the natural development of these civilizations that they come across. Some civilizations, they come across are not as advanced, and some are more advanced. And so it helps protect them to say, hey, I'm not going to interfere in your business, your culture, certainly your planet there. So that's kind of in the Star Trek world, but we have some Prime Directives out here in our world. Here's a couple of them. One is do no harm, right? This is the Hippocratic oath that doctors, maybe dentists take, I'm not sure about dentists, but doctors take, right? Do no harm. One from the church, love God and your neighbor. So they're pretty short. They're pretty much to the point. And when you think about them, like do no harm. Yeah, hey, that sounds really good, right? Who can not argue with that? Yet maybe there's doctors out there who do harm. Then what is harm? What is harm? How about love your God and your neighbor? What is love? Different expressions, different ways. Who's my neighbor? Who's not my neighbor? So there is and can be some subjectivity to it. However, if we just take it on the fundamentals of do no harm, for example, then I think we could agree to that. However, if you look at the Prime Directive and you've seen Star Trek, that this directive of not interfering with natural development of civilizations comes up quite a bit. And let's say it's a rule. I mean, it's a directive. Do no harm. Don't interfere in cultures. Love God and your neighbor. Yet people, whether it's in the real world or in Star Trek, do go against these directives. So this is a show about talking about vacation and short-term rentals and safety. What if we had a Prime Directive for vacation rental safety? Let's try this on. Provide safer vacation short-term rental properties for your guest. I'll say again, provide safer vacation or short-term rental properties for guests. Now, who can argue that? Just like do no harm. If I'm a vacation rental owner or manager, or I'm a guest basically wants to go on vacation. It's not even in their mind, and we'll talk about that, about, hey, is this property safe? It's like in geometry, right? If you ever took geometry and you did proofs, there were certain things that are given. I hypothesize and believe that guests say, hey, this property's safe. And so they just put it in their formula and it's there. And on the other side, as property managers and owners, are we fulfilling that obligation? And let's say it's not even an obligation, right? Because an obligation means, well, I could take it away or remove it. No, No. I mean, providing safer vacation short-term rental properties for our guests is now our prime directive. We've agreed that this is what we must do. However, just like do no harm, like what is harm? What is safer? And who are my guests? Maybe who are our guests is a little easier. But provide. Am I providing that, or is the owner providing that? And what is safe? So you see how we could get into this just like in Starfleet, and just like doctors, and just like people in the past in Christian faith, love your God and your neighbor, how they may struggle with these called prime directives. So why do you think that's so? So, I mean, these seem pretty intuitive, right? And we could probably think of other things that we could call the prime directives in different groups or work or activities. But these critical guiding points in our businesses or our culture, our society, protect something from influencing to moving this in a different direction. So what we find is the prime directive is agreed upon until there's a situation we don't agree with. We believe we know better. Now, this is, I believe, more true in today's world in 2022 than ever before. I agree to the prime directive of providing safer vacation rentals for my guests. However, in this case, I think I know better that I really don't need to install a smoke detector, or I knew the smoke detector was bad. And however, I never had any situations before. This is a fairly new property. I'll go the next day after the guests check in and tell them I'm going to do a maintenance call and just put in that new battery. Or I'm going to fill in the blank with whatever you know, or maybe you don't know about what's causing this, we'll call it gap or violation in the prime directive for safer vacation rentals. So there was a lot in there in that hypothetical example that probably is not as hypothetical as we think, but these beliefs are brought into us by our subconscious mind when we're much younger, or by influential people in our lives. See, 95% of our daily activity is run by the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind is basically programmed when we're much younger, and it can change as we get older based upon influential people or groups or our spouses or our family or anything can influence that to change our beliefs. And what a belief actually is, it's I have a thought, and that thought mixed with emotion over time becomes a belief. And then after that, our beliefs now impact our decisions. Like our example about I'm going to not let the smoke detector function properly without the battery because I don't believe it'll cause any problems, right? That's my belief. I make a decision. I have an action not to do this until tomorrow. And more than likely, we have a result. And I would say most of the time, that result is, hey, nothing happened. So what happens? Our subconscious mind begins to program itself to say, oh, smoke detection, that's okay. I really don't need it because I haven't had any problems in the past, right? This is what we learn, whether it's through ourselves or others, to cause this to happen. Now, we also have our conscious mind, which operates 5% of the time, and it causes us, when we see something that grabs our attention, maybe like this podcast, and you were listening because you were interested in the prime directive, and now you're listening. But as we go on, you start to wane in your listening and focus, right? Because the conscious mind focuses for short periods of time for certain things. And then it consumes a lot of energy in our brain. The sugar, the glucose, the conscious mind is focusing, you're focusing on a particular issue or topic, like this discussion right now. But over time, it wanes and goes away. And then your conscious mind is always overruled by your subconscious mind. Okay. And here's an example you probably heard me say before, right? If I say, hey, let's jump on a bike and go bike riding, your conscious mind does not even need to engage about bike riding. It may be saying yes. And actually, when I ask you to ride on a bike and you've ridden a bike before, 7 seconds before you give me the answer, yes, let's go ride a bike, your subconscious mind is already in action. You are mounting the bike, adjusting the seat, the handlebars. You are ready to ride. You're doing this and you're not even thinking about it. Your subconscious mind jumped in. Now, the subconscious mind is also there and it protects us when we detect patterns like, hey, if someone points a gun at us, the subconscious mind takes over and says, uh-oh, danger, and starts to take action. Maybe at the current moment, no immediate action, but it wants to take action to protect you because this is what our brain does. There's no conscious thinking happening here, right, at all. So when you have this and you see that the science has demonstrated 95% of our daily activities are driven by our subconscious mind, even if we know we have a prime directive, like in Starfleet or now in the vacation rental safety world, we are providing safer vacation short-term rentals for our guests. Our subconscious mind takes over. And so are we really understanding? So now you're aware. We talk about awareness, understanding, and knowing. You're now aware that there's this directive. There is this understanding, and you can learn this. I can help you learn about and understand how to prevent and protect your properties and provide safer VRs. But here's the missing piece that no one's been teaching is how do you balance the subconscious mind who wants to overrule your conscious way of thinking about the prime directive. See, the subconscious mind, it doesn't know what's good or bad. It just is out there running these patterns for you that you've learned intentionally or unintentionally, or that you've reprogrammed yourself to operate in a certain way, just like the bike. Because what it's doing is it's saying, hey, Jack wants to ride this bike. Jill wants to ride this bike, and they do it a lot. And so I'm going to create a pattern in their subconscious mind that's going to show them how to ride the bike without thinking about it, to save energy. This pattern happens all the time, and we don't even recognize it. Whether we're riding the bike, or we're talking about providing safer VRs for our owners, when we're doing revenue management, when we are hiring people, letting people go, everything that's out there, we have some sub-routines or patterns that our subconscious mind is running. The subconscious mind understands the prime directive. However, it will eventually give way to the subconscious mind over time. So this explains a lot, everyone, about why in Starfleet is the prime directive not adhered to at times. One is we think we know better. And how do we think we know better? Remember, everything starts with a thought that mixed with emotion becomes a belief, and then it affects our decisions, our actions, and our results. That's how it starts, with a thought. So what are you thinking about safety, and what kind of patterns are running in your subconscious mind to allow and to provide safer vacation rentals for your guests? I think this is a critical topic, everyone. Now that we have a prime directive for safety in the vacation rental world, we want to put it into play. And then as we continue to go and grow, we're going to understand that we have subconscious patterns. And I'll be honest, everyone, I didn't recognize I had subconscious patterns running in my mind, in my brain so much. I mean, I learned a process on how to detect it, how to manage it. And more importantly, I put together a program here that allows us in the vacation rental industry to take a look at how we are looking at our patterns, how we can adjust our patterns, because the biggest pattern that causes an issue for us is inattention, which we'll probably talk about in a separate podcast. So let me know what you think about the new Prime Directive for vacation rental safety. Provide safer vacation short-term rental for your guests. Are you adhering to it? Do you think maybe, hey, you know better? We all do. That's the real interesting part. And then let me know what you think about this discussion about your subconscious mind and how it goes and takes over your actions that you're doing. If you join my Safer Vacation Rental group, Facebook group, I have a video in there from Dr. Bruce Lipton that really illustrates this point. He's a fabulous speaker on this topic, someone that I've listened to and then learning more from. And I really think this is a big game changer for us in the vacation rental industry. I'm a big proponent of safety. I mean, I created Safer VRs for this purpose, but I'm also a property manager. I'm also an owner. I'm an investor. So this is really important for me, and how our subconscious mind and the patterns that we've generated that are occurring, maybe we don't recognize, or we do recognize, but we don't know how to change it. Here at Safer VRs, our transformational thinking can help you. So I appreciate you listening today. Go out and spread the word about the Prime Directive for vacation rental safety. Provide safer vacation and short-term rental properties for guests. I hope you have a great day. I want you to create a safe day. And I look forward to hearing from you in the Facebook group. Join my Facebook group. Join our Awakening Vacation Rental Safety membership group there. Join us as we launch into, this is just one piece of how we're elevating and learning more about safer vacation rentals. Take care, everyone. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Safer VR's podcast with Eric Thibodeaux. If you enjoy this, I would love you to join my Facebook group, The Safer Vacation Rentals, for more of the same. You can also join our email list at www.safervrs.com.